Hello everyone, this is Vivo Mystery Cases, and today we are going to talk about the Thiaoouba Prophecy. Come join us as we talk about it some more. There are still many mysteries in the world that cannot be solved by science, such as UFO, aliens, the mystery of Atlantis, the Bermuda Triangle, Mayan civilization, the purpose of pyramids, the origin of the moon, and the 5 extinctions of life. If you want to know the answers to these questions, you must use a time machine back to the past. But there is such a person, and he experienced a strange alien 10-day trip and came back with the answers to these questions. This person is Michel from France. After graduating from high school, he joined the French army and spent his life in Africa for 8 years. After leaving the army, he was engaged in gardening. He then moved to Australia in 1972 and by chance contacted an alien. Since then, he became a person who has not been highly educated and has not engaged in any scientific research, but he was able to answer the most difficult mystery in the human history. He wrote these questions and answers to the aliens into a book. It's called Thiaoouba Prophecy. Thiaoouba means the golden planet. The book reveals the purpose of the universe and the meaning of life, and stellar travel, telepathy, and reincarnation of life. The ultimate proposition of a large number of human beings, such as the life of the galaxy in the past 1.3 million years on the Earth, surreal and cosmic laws. The content and all the answers in the book are detailed. It is a depth that even the top science fiction writers dare not reach, and will bring the greatest shock to anyone who is curious about the world. Let us start this magical journey across time and space. The author said in the preface of the book, "I wrote this book as I obeyed. I swear that this is a real thing that happened to me, and extraordinary stories I wrote in the book. For some people, that may be an unrated fantasy novel or a complete fabricated story, but I am not a novelist and have no imagination to compile these stories, and some people can see the information that my new friend brings to humans on this planet. Some religious topics are covered in the book, but I have no racial or religious bias. Writing time is inscribed in 1989. Also cited the Bible in the sentence, "They have eyes to see and has ears, but they do not hear." In 1987, Michel suddenly woke up from a hot weather in Australia, and his wife was still asleep. He suddenly went into the desk and wrote a letter. "Dear, I will live for 10 days. Don't worry about me." During this time, there was a bright light outside the house, but it didn't look like a star. Michel went out and suddenly everything was shrouded in a blue light. He felt that there was something wrong and wanted to return to the house immediately. But this time, he found himself still leaving across the grounds. The house at the foot is getting smaller and smaller. He thought he must be dreaming. Then, a voice suddenly came somewhere. "No, you are not dreaming." Suddenly, Michel saw a tall, pretty woman, over 2 meters high, wearing a transparent helmet. She was smiling while saying these things, but her lips didn't move at all. The sound seemed to enter Michel's senses directly. Michel was a little speechless. Reality and dream intertwined at this moment, and this person exudes such peace of mind. Michel has never seen such a person like this. The woman then said, "Hello, my name is Thao. None of this was a dream. For some special reasons, Michel have been selected for a special trip in another time and space, a space-time parallel to the Earth's material space. In order to make this trip successful, he used a time lock thing. At this point, the time is stationary. He can be in the state for 20 to 50 Earth years, and when he returns, his age will be as if he has never left." Behind this person named Thao appeared a huge whole body emitting a blue light, spherical object about 10 meters above the ground, without doors and windows. There's a smooth like an eggshell. Thao apparently sent schematic directions for Michel to drift into the spherical objects, and when he did, a portion of a sphere shrink about 3 meters high is formed into an oval inlet. They finally landed on the floor of a giant ball. The interior space sphere is much greater than the outside looks. Michael came to think of it before his friend talked about UFO and imagined countless times what does it really look like. But now it is really in front of the face of Michael, but this is kind of over-realism. Thao said to Michael to let him lay in a box and then give him 2 pills. One is to remove the bacteria in his body in order to adapt the environment. There is also an astral body that temporarily leaves his flesh and works for 3 hours. In this way, Michael's spirit can move around in the spaceship at will. Without causing pollution to the spaceship, Michael this time has seen a box of his own, and now it feels like the memories of what happened to the previous perspective. This is a real illusion. Michael came to the control room. There are 12 G and Thao, like people are women. He saw a screen with extremely vivid colors. It turned out that the spaceship had already left the Earth and was accelerating. The spacecraft stopped when it reached a planet. Thao said to him, "This is Aremo X3. This is more than twice as large as the planet Earth. Once a world very much like the Earth, then under the spherical spaceship, a small ball fell, just like a hen laying eggs. Each ball's screen immediately appeared on the screen is full view. Michael saw these pictures as ruins, and no one was there. At this time, another ball flew to a lake. The scenery here is very similar to the Earth, but a little different. A group of people appeared by the lake. At first glance, they seem to be just like the people on the Earth, but their structure is significantly taller. There are men and women with brown skin, which look like a bit like Mongolians, and at this time, people saw the ball and screamed. Thao explained to Michael to the people that the Earth here is the same ancestor. Here, there have been high level of civilization, but 150 years ago, because of the nuclear war, has returned into ruins. Look like they regularly come to observe. Michael asked why not help these people because nuclear were suffering. Thao told him it was because of the law of the universe, and this law is strict and merciless. Like planets around the star, the same rotation. Once intervened, order will confuse any help they have, weakening these people's desire to survive. Although they will occasionally intervene, such as planting some plants or save some animals so people have food, their more intervention method is to give these people the power of survival, though dreams and telepathy. But in general, they are just observing like a sentence on the Earth. God helps those who help themselves. Michael asked, "Then you are their God?" Thao back to say, "Complete correct. This is how religion on Earth comes. When the small balls all return to a big ball, the spaceship continues to move. An indigo blue planet appeared on the screen. Thao tell Michael, here is the home. It is called Thiaoouba, just like your Earth." Michael saw some people on the screen similar to Thao, seemed to be talking, but they were all women. Michael asked Thao, "Only women on this planet?" Thao said, "There are no women and no men on our planet. We have no gender." But Michael decided to take them as a woman. Thao then explained to Michael, took him carry out to the purpose of this extraordinary journey. "Our task is to give you a report that you see and hear along the way. Go back and you can use a book or a few books to tell your experience. Doing so makes sense. You can ask me any questions. I will give you the answer." Michael began to do what he could and asked the questions and best represented the human curiosity. How did the universe come from? In the beginning, there was nothing but the will of God, the Spirit of God. The will of God far exceeded the imagination of mankind. It can transform consciousness into matter, and it can make atomic explosion produced by incredible powers and only by will. Everything in the universe was originally imagined. When it imagines atoms, it already think about how atoms were composed. first, it imagines what material movement is and how to make it move. It imagines life and how to produce life. The universe is the smallest atoms, large galaxies, everything is like divine will think it over everything. But everything is in its imagination and the universe still does not exist. So it uses its super spiritual abilities to simultaneously create the universe. The universe, the four fundamental forces or four superior forces, the interaction of these forces, the moment created the universe, darkness disappeared. The universe was born according to the will of God. The universe is also a kind of life. Stars are born, planets are formed, all this imagined by the will of God. This is the first kind of power, which we call atomic power. Then it uses the second force, which is the super cosmic force or holocosmic force, created the most primitive life, including primitive animals and plants, then used them as a model to create more subspecies. At this time, the will of God wanted to experience feelings with a unique life, so it used a third force, ovo-astronomic force, to imagine the prototype of man, but man was not born in an instant. They need a long time to form, but the will of God has already figured out of the beginning and the end of man. Michael didn't ask what the fourth force is, but when he asked the second question, Thao told him that the fourth force is very important. It injects the spirit into the human body. It only accounts for second level ego or higher self, the 1/9, the two egos, sometimes called superego. Superego is the highest state of man. If human desires its ID and reason is ego, then superego is to guide ego, enterprise's ID. Human spirit or consciousness cannot feel all superego because it occupies 1/9 of ego. Each person has a spirit and 8 spirits partners, which together form superego. Some twins in the world is a pair of spirits partner. There will be so-called telepathy among the spiritual partners. Even 2 miles apart twins, they would think the same thing at the same time in unison or sick or sad at the same time. Collaboration between partners, spiritual body, just beyond the speed of life, is quantum entanglement as collaboration. Soulmate, which happen by chance, is not a soulmate. It's just a very fit mental and your people. Only two shine flame. That is only one person in the entire universe. It's a spiritual partner. The human spirit is like a first level ego. It is 1/9 of the second level ego. Still further, 2 ego is 3 ego 1/9. 3 ego is 4 ego 1 in 9. Until the last 9 levels of ego, we can have a godlike experience. When humans reach a certain age of development, they will realize the importance of spiritual healing, which is more effective than treatment than any medical treatment. Man's death is an ego, not 2 ego time. In the near-death experience, you can experience this feeling when you are close to the person who declared clinical death or when the person is on the verge of death. The spirit can see his body rescued by the doctor from above and knows that the person he loves is fighting for him. But in this state, the spirit will feel very relaxed and unprecedented, but it will usually be abandoned out of this body and into spiritual channel or psychic the canal. End of the tunnel is a wonderful light. The kind of spiritual body will feel the light, one kind of bliss satisfied feeling. It will follow the light to reach the exit. You will see his secondary ego at the exit. It is the spiritual passage to the blissful light. If the spirit has the desire not to die, it usually for the other people, such as love partners or young children, it will ask to return. At this time, the second level of the ego spirit is it really for others, not for yourself. The second level of ego will approve whether the spirit can return, and if the spirit returns to the person, it will be resurrected. Once leaving this passage, there is no possibility of returning to the exit. This human spirit continuously exchanges the information with the second level ego through brain. The brain is like a receiver, and the second level ego is constantly monitored. It will even pull people back from life and death. For example, a person to take a flight, but because of some things came up and finally the plane crashed. The man escaped unharmed because the 2 ego do not think you down. It intervened a person if dies in an accident. It is also a second level of ego arrangement. This is what human beings call fate, and people will communicate with second level ego in dreaming. The second level level ego will give advice and enlighten the spirit so that it can obtain solutions to important problems. At this time, the second level ego is equivalent to a cosmic consciousness, and it just tells you what was there. Every spirit body uses its life to pass on what it feels to the second level. This is the most important thing. After all, God's will creates life of experience from level 1 ego to level 9 ego. Each level is like a human experience, the feeling of a layer to filter, only to filter out the bad things. To get to a higher level of ego, the human material desire and consumerism is a bad thing. These things are like a dirt plucking filter which will hinder the evolution of the spirit. So, the most important thing in life is experience. Whether it is a good or bad, try your best to experience life. If you can let people live life to experience the spirit and let your mind be raised, the spiritual body, there will be more and more spiritual wisdom. This evolution has been about 5 to 15,000 years, for each person's time is different. People's secondary ego nothing up the filter to achieve a big meat state. You evolve to the 2 ego at this time. The spirit will be born on a higher level planet. So, as to reach the 9th level ego, Thiaoouba is a 9-tier planet. The Earth is still at the initial level, and there are only 3 9-level planets in the entire galaxy. When the human reaches the 9th level, the human can also have a body or become a pure spirit, swimming in the ether of the will of God. To know, in this process, the human body is just means of transportation, a means of transportation to the ultimate purpose. So far, Michael's journey has just begun. He has asked the most important question for mankind. Where did mankind came from? Where will humans go from here? This is his 10-day journey. Only in the past few hours, and Thao's spaceship is very similar to the spherical UFO that we humans have witnessed. For example, glowing, releasing of a small ball from the bottom. In this way, the Thiaoouba people say that we are from the 9th planet. Then, they are really civilization that is a few ranks higher than the little gray man. No wonder they appear in front of human beings without fear, and Michael and Thao, this cosmic voyage carried out under the leadership will continue. We will continue to answer these questions Michael raised in the next video about aliens, UFO moon, pyramids, prehistoric civilization. You will hear completely different answers. See you next time. If you like our video, please help us like, repost, and comment. Each of your likes and reposts is our motivation to work hard. We also look forward to making better videos to share with you. Here is Vivo Mystery Case channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.